SAT full score of 750. The scummy sister got 751. Just because she tied the SAT score leeching scheme, every test can be 10 points higher than me. In order to get me to take the SAT, she went out of her way to cause me to lose my Ivy League early admission opportunity. She bragged in front of me again and again. What's the point of trying? Sis, you're still not just my stepping stone. I smiled. Since you want a high score, they'll give you the highest score in history. 0.01 midterm mock exam results came out. I got 698. And my sister Sienna got 708. This was the first time I didn't get the first place since I moved up to senior year. 0.01 midterm mock exam results came out. I got 698. And my sister Sienna got 708. This was the first time I didn't get the first place since I moved up to senior year. The people gathered around the bulletin board to read the list exploded. Oh my gosh, Lila wasn't number one. What's even more explosive is that Sienna came first. Okay. She doesn't even study. Their surname Lu is too powerful too. They directly dominated the list. Sienna proudly stood in the crowd, enjoying the bragging and envy of the crowd. Did valedictorian cheat? I remember she could only score 300 to 400 points before. Someone who knew her whispered. Upon hearing this, Sienna stepped forward. Hello everyone. I'm Sienna. Valedictorian this time. Second in grade is my sister. I know some of you doubted my grades, but I'd like to say that this is what I was originally made of. My sister is someone who isn't too smart but works extra hard, and I was afraid that me doing better than her every day without studying would break her mind before. So I've always hidden my level before, but now that the SAT is less than 6 months away, I've decided to take responsibility for my life. So from today, I won't give in to her anymore. After saying that, the people around them even applauded. Wow, this sister is also too good to be true. Touching sisterly love. Yeah, I didn't expect that. Not only is she good at grades, but she's also so considerate of her family. I would die of happiness if I were her sister. If Sienna were really smart, she wouldn't have asked her parents to pay 100,000 private school donation to get her into this high school. And she wouldn't even be able to copy my homework. I just thought that she probably did something to get a high score on the test. So I didn't want to waste my time listening to her fake bragging. So I pushed my way out of the circle and prepared to go back to my seat to brush up on my work. But before entering the school building, I was stopped by Sienna. Sister, how does it feel to come in second on the exam? Sienna proudly bragged in front of me. It's refreshing, but it should also be the last time. I responded to her coldly. Too bad you won't get the chance. My good sister. Sienna couldn't hide the smugness on her face as if she'd won some kind of treasure. From today onwards, you'll never be able to outshine me. 02 at dinner in the evening. Sienna deliberately mentioned at the table about the midterm mock exam coming out on top. Mom and Dad, don't you know, my sister did really well this time. Dad sniffed and asked to see my report card. 698. Not bad. There's progress. What grade is she in this time? Second. My sister beat me to it and spoke before me. How come it's only second? Didn't you used to be first? Dad's brow immediately furrowed. Acting so serious every day. I thought you were doing so well in school, but it turns out you've even regressed. I've bragged about it to those uncles of yours. It's really embarrassing for me. I am Mom and Dad. Don't talk about sister. Sister is already working hard. Sienna hypocritically relieved me, then pretended to put her own report card on the table without thinking. Actually, this time the paper is indeed a bit difficult. Even I did average. Mom and Dad listened and went back for Sienna's report card. 708. They exclaimed out in unison. Siyu, you took valedictorian. Yeah. I was afraid of affecting my sister's mindset before, so I never took the test properly before. Now that there's only half a year left for the SAT, I decided to be more serious. Siyu is awesome. Worthy of being our daughter. I've known since I was a kid that Siyu is smarter than her sister. Lila, you should learn from your sister in the future. The scene of a loving father and filial daughter in front of me made my eyes hurt. Obviously, I'm only 1 year older than Sienna, but she was especially favored by her parents when she was born because of her frailty. While I was sent back home to be raised by my grandmother. Their family was so happy that they completely forgot about me, the daughter who was placed at home, and I was already in elementary school, but I was enrolled a year late, in the same grade as my younger sister, Sienna. It wasn't until I was 15 and in high school that I returned to them. But when I went back to my own family, it was like I was living under a roof. They were the family. And I was just an extra. This strengthened my determination to study hard and stay away from this family. I stopped looking at them and went to my room to brush up without saying a word. Sienna, however, did not want to let me live in peace. Seeing me go to the room immediately pretended to persuade. Dad, I told you not to say anything. My sister is angry. I did better than my sister, and she was already upset today. I'm her father. She dares to make a face with me. Dad stood up with a slap on the table. The arching fire succeeded and Sienna looked down and snickered. Lila. Why are you so clueless? Even your own sister is jealous. Mom voiced her crusade against me as well. I'm not, I explained feebly. But they didn't even listen to my explanation and counted on themselves. Pulling a face all day long, like someone owes you. See how filial your sister is. Ungrateful wretch who can't raise a child. I really don't have it. What do you guys want from me? Just you this attitude and still say no. I see that with this mentality of yours. You won't be able to get into any university. I couldn't stand it and ran to my room after unlocking the door. Their voices scolding me could still be faintly heard in the living room, and I leaned against the bedroom door as tears fell like rain. Every single time it was like this. As long as it's what my sister says, no matter what it is they will believe it and then indiscriminately wrong me. No matter how much I try to explain, it's useless. And once I was pushed by them to the point of breaking down and losing my temper. They would jump out and accuse me in a self-righteous manner. See, it's true that you're just the ungrateful wretch who can't be bred. Hold on for 4 more months. 4 more months and then you'll be able to leave this house. Trying to console myself, I sat down at my desk with my earbuds in and started brushing up on my questions. I'm going to get out of here. 03 I don't get along with Sienna and I never usually go to school with her. Every day my dad drove her and then I rode my own bike to school. So she arrives earlier than me every day. Today when I arrived at school, there was a circle of people around Sienna. That Lila usually looks quiet. How come she's such a person? Yeah. She's actually jealous of her own sister and slammed the door because mom and dad complimented you. Siyu, you've been so good to her. She's actually envious of you. As soon as I came in, I heard the group of girls making up about me. Shoo, keep it down. She's coming in. I don't want to cause trouble, but am never afraid of it either. And immediately went forward and loudly questioned. What are you guys talking about? Sienna immediately put on a pitiful look. As if I had bullied her. It's okay, sis. It's just that we made some small talk. Don't take it to heart. The short-haired girl next to Sienna immediately stood up for her. Lila, why are you so cross? Are you so jealous of your sister that you can't see her doing better than you? A few other girls followed suit. That's right. Hurry up and apologize to Siyu. If you guys are saying that I'm jealous of her, then show me proof. Otherwise it's a rumor. Sienna, who had been shielded by the girls, spoke up. Sister, I know you look down on me and think that I didn't get my grades on my own. Or how about this? Let's make a bet. If I still do better than you on the test next time, Then it will prove that this is my true strength. I agreed. Not believing that Sienna could do well all the time by hook or by crook, the final mock exam results were related to the Ivy League early admission quota. So I started studying hard immediately after I got back to my seat. On the day of the exam, I was confident. I was confident that I had studied more thoroughly than ever before, and I couldn't believe that I wouldn't come in first place. Since the school exams are seated according to grades, Sienna was in front of me and I had to look at the back of her head the whole time I took the exam. The first subjects went well. But when it came to the last subject, Sienna suddenly began to play a demon. 5 minutes before the end of the exam, her chair tilted forward, and then she threw herself onto the table. Sienna stood up violently and stared at me. "Lila, what are you doing?" I gave her a puzzled look, then looked down and continued to fill out my answer key. The invigilator came over to inquire about the situation. "What's going on, teacher, Lila?" She keeps whispering and asking me the answer to the last multiple choice question, and she keeps kicking my stool if I don't tell her. I had one last multiple choice question left to mark, but the teacher just took away my paper without listening to the explanation. I stood up sharply. "I didn't." "Well, see if we have it or not if we look at the monitor." Just then, the bell rang for the end of the exam. The two of us were taken to the monitoring room by the invigilator. But the person in charge of monitoring said that the monitoring of the first examination room was broken today. Sienna changed her face again. "It's okay, teacher. It's really okay. My sister was probably just joking with me. Since the monitor is broken, I won't bother you." The invigilator, a young teacher with a strong sense of justice, frowned at his words. "No, this is the final mock exam, not a school quiz. And the discipline of the exam room must be strictly checked." He then took us to the academic advisor's office. After briefly understanding the situation, academic advisor Mr. Lin opened up. Ms. Lin had always been good to me before, and I thought she knew me as a person. But I didn't expect that she opened her mouth but directly convicted me. "Iyun, teacher recently heard from the class that you have a strong opinion of your sister because of your midterm mock exam results. Be honest with teacher. Did you just cheat?" I didn't expect that even the always respected teacher Lin would favor Sienna. For a split second, it was like I had been punched in the face. The fists at my side clenched up tightly. "Teacher Lin, first of all, I know how to do that question on my own. There's no need to ask anyone at all. Secondly, I still stand by that statement. Sienna said I cheated. That has to be proven." 04 Teacher Lin was deep in thought and speechless. Sienna on the side also spoke. "Teacher, I actually have a solution. It's to wait for the test results to come out. Look at the answer cards and see which of us got the last question of the choices right to judge." "Sister, are you satisfied with this solution?" I was just about to say yes when my mind recalled the multiple choice question that I hadn't been able to finish scribbling because the teacher had taken away my paper. Seeing me blushing, the invigilator on the side looked like he had immediately caught my fault. "See, you're weak-minded. Just now, if it wasn't for you taking away my answer card in advance, I clearly could have scribbled that question." Teacher Lin looked at me with disappointment. "Lila, don't make excuses. Teacher didn't expect you to be like this." I stood in the office and explained 100 times, but because of the pause I had just made, all of them were dismissed as lies and weakness. The teacher told me to go back to class and wait for the papers to come out and see what happens. But when I returned to my familiar seat, I couldn't settle down to write my paper. On the day the final mock exam results came out, I went to the bulletin board early to read the list. First place, Sienna, 710 points. When I saw this line, my eyes were spinning. Sienna was once again 10 points higher than me. She came up to me at some point. "Don't struggle, Lila. There's no way you're going to pass me. I ignored her and returned to the classroom disoriented. Academic advisor Mr. Lin also approached me with the report card and answer key. Lila, is this what you said you would do? She pointed at the multiple choice question that I didn't scribble on, and then pointed at Sienna's paper. Other people's Siyu got all of them right. I knew I couldn't explain anything else, so I just kept my mouth shut. Lila, teacher originally always thought that you were a smart and upright child, but I never thought that you would cheat on a test just because you were jealous of your sister, and you still refused to admit it afterwards. It's the teacher who misjudged you. This is the final mock exam. I have to give you a disciplinary action. Because of Sienna, I carried a warning penalty 2 months before the SAT and therefore missed out on an Ivy League early admission spot. My teachers were disappointed in me because of this, and my classmates were pointing fingers at me behind my back because I lost to Sienna, not to mention my parents. Later that night, Sienna came into my bedroom. Sister, now you should believe that no matter how hard you try, you can't pass me. Because I will always be 10 points higher than you. What do you mean? I asked, frowning. Literally. It means that I will always be 10 points higher than you, no matter how much you defy me or how much you struggle. So I'm advising you to hold your other thoughts, study hard, and stop thinking about Ivy League early admission. That way you'll get first place and you can still get a second. I know you don't like me, but you don't want all these years of hard studying to go to waste. With these words, Sienna left. 05 I sat at the table and thought about it all night. Sienna said that she was bound to be 10 points higher than me in every exam, a phenomenon I had noticed in the last few exams. Since Sienna can be so sure, it means that she is also sure to be 10 points higher than me on the SAT. But why did she stop me from taking the Ivy League early admission? And was it because I wouldn't be able to take the SAT? A horrible suspicion is gradually taking shape in my mind. Every test is 10 points higher than mine, which means that Sienna's score is based on adding 10 points to mine. But what if I don't take the test? In order to verify my guess, I took a day off from work for this week's internal exams, and Sienna's test scores were really lousy. My suspicion was confirmed. Sienna's grades are tied to mine, and that's why she cares so much about whether or not I have Ivy League early admission. Because if I don't take the test, she's going to show her true colors. I can't intentionally do poorly just to fight with her, because I'm ruining my own future. But what if I do too well? What if I had gotten a 740 or even higher? Would Sienna still make it? A crazy idea came into my head. I pretended to make peace with Sienna, saying that I was willing to win-win with her, and that I needed to study hard for the next 2 months. Seeing me like this, Sienna let go of her heart and stopped working against me. Without her interference, I daily concentrate on brushing problems, while Sienna is playing more and more arrogant. Bold. In the past, she only skipped the evening study hall, but now she is directly absent from class, and one absence is a whole day. I heard that she even had a boyfriend during this time, and admitted to following him out to hang out and fight. Every time she was caught by teachers and parents, she swore impatiently, "I promise I'll still be number 1 on my SATs." And I didn't let her down. The pre-SAT diagnostic test, the school practice tests, all made her number 1. I let her indulge in the fantasy of a sure thing, while my own scores began to inch closer to 740. And the night before the SAT, Sienna went out with her boyfriend to drink and bar hop, enjoying college life in advance. I went to bed early and arrived at the test center early the next day. I know, this is my only chance to get rid of Sienna. If I succeeded, I would have a clean slate. If I didn't, I would be parasitized by her for the rest of my life. Sitting in the exam room, I was more engaged than ever. Fortunately, all the hard work I've put into brushing up on the questions in the past few days hasn't been in vain. And seeing them is like seeing an old friend. After coming out of the exam center, Sienna was the first to find me, concerned. How was the exam? Very well, better than ever. I really meant it. This can Sienna happy bad, beautifully looking for mom and dad to report the good news went. I couldn't help but smile as I stared at her back .06 after the SATs. Sienna got a huge amount of pocket money from her parents, with the guarantee that she would be number one in the school. Not only did she upgrade all her electronic devices, but she also treated her boyfriend to a trip out of the province. I wanted to go back to my hometown to see my grandmother, and when I asked my parents for money to buy a ticket, they refused. It's not New Year's Eve. Why go? I don't have any money. No money for me, but money for Sienna. I finally stopped holding out hope for my parents and went out to work to save up for the bus fare. The day the SAT scores came out was Sienna's 18th birthday, and in order for everyone to witness her rise to the top of the ladder, she invited all of her friends and family to a huge debutante ball, where relatives and co-workers complimented mom and dad. Your Liu family is really blessed. Both of your daughters are so good at studying. That's true, but my eldest daughter has no filial piety at all, except for her slightly better grades. On the contrary, my second daughter, not only are her grades better than the older one, but she is also much more understanding than the older one. Dad's words were all about Sienna and me. The younger ones, on the other hand, all gathered around Sienna to hold her up. Siyu, you're so smart. Your SATs are sure to be solid. Yeah. If I had done 2/3 as well as you, my parents wouldn't have had to send me abroad. You're so happy. A boyfriend in one hand and a notification letter from a prestigious school in the other. When will the results come out later? Check one on the spot so we can witness the moment the top student is born. Sienna wore a small dress and held her head proudly. Wait for it. I heard that if state top scorers, Qingbei will get the news in advance and call over to snatch them. Qingbei did call, but not to her. But to me. I answered phone call after phone call from the admissions office in front of everyone, listening to the people from those schools promising me rewards, only to say that I'd reconsider. Sienna waited with her eyes glazed over, and her phone never rang. She made a pretense of composure and said, "The best always has to be the finale." Finally, it was the point of checking the scores and the crowd immediately urged Sienna to log onto the website. I also clicked into the score-checking portal from the sidelines. Although the answers and prepared, but really to check the score of this moment, I realized that my hands are still wet with sweat. My dad first asked me, "What was the score?" 741. The whole room erupted. My face was calm, but my heart was in shock. Success. I really succeeded. At that, Dad just nodded his head miserably, and then turned around to ask Sienna, who was surrounded by a circle of people when she was checking her grades, and she couldn't hide even if she wanted to. At the moment, she looked at the results displayed on her cell phone and was filled with disbelief. 751. Sienna spoke with an involuntary tremor in her voice, and the people around her froze. There were also relatives who didn't understand the situation praising their Siyu is even 10 points higher than her sister. Really good. The younger generation is formidable, but if I remember correctly, isn't the full SAT score 750? An uncle spoke tentatively. The whole room went quiet. Surely there are too many people checking the scores and the system made a mistake. Wait for me to refresh it. Sienna frantically refreshed the system, but she was about to slide her cell phone out of the fire, and every time the total score displayed was 751. How can it be? How can it be? Sienna's friend consoled her. Try checking with someone else's phone. Sienna went crazy and grabbed the cell phones of the people around her and tried them one by one, but the result was the same every time. At that moment, a couple of men in police uniform walked in. Hello, on official business. Which one is Sienna? She's suspected of SAT tampering and needs to come with us. Sienna ducked back with a ghastly white face. But my mom and dad, who were not willing to let her go to the station, hurriedly pushed me forward. It's her. She's Sienna. Once again abandoned by my parents. I just felt a deep chill. I'm not Sienna. I'm her sister Lila. Sienna is over there. I pointed out exactly where Sienna was for them. My parents were so angry that they wanted to hit me, blaming me for not knowing what I was doing. But I firmly held Frank's wrist that hit me. If you dare to hit me, they'll immediately call the police on you for domestic violence. From this moment on, there was no one who could restrain me or bully me anymore. Sienna was still taken away. And what was supposed to be organized for her to go to the top of the debutante ball is now a mess. No one expected things to turn out the way they did. 07 Sienna's alleged irregularities and 751 on her SATs were all over the internet. This magic number created a furor online. Laughing to death. This is buying more scores. This cheating has to be done at some level. Almost everyone on the internet is slamming Sienna, thinking that she changed her score through some kind of relationship, and as a result, she made a mistake and became 751. The results of the investigation came out very quickly, and it was Sienna's answer card that caused the problem, and the multiple choice questions were swept up by one more point than others. I think only she knows what the reason is. Although there is no direct evidence that Sienna made changes to her answer key, her score is no longer available. In order to ensure fairness, the college board will take a spare paper and let her retake the test. But Sienna cried and insisted that I take the test with her. The Department of Education, of course, would not agree to such an unthinkable thing, so Sienna finally had to take the test again alone. Unsurprisingly, the test was a disaster. Originally 751, she retook the test and became 157, but it would be strange if she could do well. Originally 300 points of the bottom. Think with me will be foolproof. This half semester is not even a day to read the book. Once she was left to her own devices. It was a real shock. This dramatic score undoubtedly deepened the suspicion that she cheated on the SAT, and public opinion instantly pushed her to the forefront. Laughing to death. 751 to 157. This difference is too much. This does not prove that her 751 is cheating. Sienna couldn't stand the netizens bashing and jumped out to show her report card for the next semester of senior year. But netizens picked up her earlier grades, and except for the score in the second semester of senior year, which was like she was possessed, she sucked at averaging out and staying around 300. So everyone was skeptical of her senior year second semester grades, thinking that she was just at the 200,300 level. And that it was under senior year that she cheated to get the test to skyrocket. There are also people pick out my relationship with Sienna, put out my report card of the past few years, use me to pull step on Sienna. See, this is the real school bully. Went from good freshman year to senior year. Never dropped out of the top 3. I heard that the two of them are still sisters. How come the gap is so big? One is 750. The other one is 150. Because of Sienna, my parents were being criticized everywhere they went. And the teachers and students who used to favor her at school also shunned her, believing that she had brought shame to the school. Sienna stayed at home and hid behind closed doors the whole day, while I had already received a letter of acceptance from the Harvard MIT medical schools, and went back to my hometown to be with my grandma, waiting for the end of August to go to the university. 08 Mid-August and the middle of August. My father called me back from my grandmother's house on the pretext that my mother had a medical emergency. But when I got home I realized that my mother was not sick at all. I thought you said Mom was sick. I snapped warily. No, it's just that we all missed you, so we made an excuse to bring you back. And your sister, too, especially missed you. It just so happens that she's in a bad mood during this time, so you comfort her more. When my father spoke, He was no longer his usual condescending self, but appeared to be somewhat pleasing. My heart still felt very unsettled. So when I went to bed at night, I purposely kept an eye out and put my cell phone camera on the table. I didn't expect them to sneak into my room in the middle of the night and secretly go through my bag. I got up and snapped the light on and questioned in a loud voice, "What are you doing?" Having been caught in my bag, Mom and Dad no longer hid it. "Lila, we all heard your sister say that as long as she has you, your sister will do well in the exams. This is such a good thing. You are the older sister. You should also help your sister, and you're so good. Another year of gap year retake will surely enable you to get into a good school, and you can also help your sister to get into a good school as well. Two birds with one stone." I finally understood their purpose. They called me back, not because they missed me at all, but to force me to gap year retake with Sienna. "You guys are really my good parents. When I was young, you left me at my grandma's house because of my sister, and now you can make me go to gap year retake for my sister as well. That I am telling you. You guys. No way. You ungrateful wretch. You don't even want to help your sister. We raised you for so many years for nothing." Mom scolded me again. At this moment, Sienna, who had been rummaging through things in the back, spoke up in surprise. "Found it," only to see her pick up my acceptance letter and tear it to shreds. "Trying to get rid of me to go to college alone. No way, Lila. Now that the notice is gone, you'll have to go to gap year retake with me. I'm telling you, you'll have to be my stepping stone for the rest of your life." She looked much more haggard than usual. At the moment her hair was scattered. Her behavior was crazy. But her eyes were flashing with an abnormal fierce light. I knew that as long as I resisted, the three men would be infuriated. So I pretended to see the notice being torn up and agreed to them helplessly. Seeing me obedient, they left. After going out, they even deliberately locked the door. As soon as they went out, I immediately jumped to the table and picked up my cell phone. Originally opened the camera was to think of as a monitor in case of emergency. I did not expect to crookedly happen to record the scene. I posted the video online and then immediately called the police. 09 about half an hour later. I heard movement coming from the living room. "We received a call from Lila that you are illegally detaining her." I heard the police officer's voice. "There's no such thing. That Evian kid went out to play after her SATs and never came back." The father was trying to beat a dead horse at the moment to get this off his chest. Fearing that the police would leave, I immediately frantically tapped on the door in the bedroom. "I'm here. I'm here." There was another commotion from the living room, and then the door opened. When I was rescued out, I saw the three Siennas standing in the doorway glaring at me sinisterly. "Lila, even if you get out, so what? Your acceptance letter is gone. You'll never go to college again," Sienna said viciously as she leaned in close to my ear. If she hadn't reminded me, I would have almost forgotten about it. Immediately, I spoke with a blessed heart. "By the way, police uncle, I also want to report that in addition to my parents illegally detaining me, my sister, Sienna, also tore up my acceptance letter and intentionally prevented me from going to college. What proof do you have that I tore it up?" Sienna was certain that I couldn't produce any evidence, and recklessly reversed black and white. "It was clearly you who went crazy and tore it up yourself in the middle of the night, and my mom and dad and I all saw it." Yes, yes, yes. She did tear it up herself. Mom and Dad were busy testifying for Sienna. They still didn't know that I had already filmed all of their behavior and posted it online. I took out my cell phone and handed it to the police. "This is the evidence. I just recorded it all." Seeing this scene, Sienna completely panicked. She frantically lunged over and smashed my phone to the ground. "Now add another one," deliberately destroying evidence. I calmly watched her go crazy. "Go ahead and smash it. What's the point of smashing it? I've already posted this video online. It's probably already spreading by now. Don't worry. It won't be long before this goes all over the internet. If you have the ability to smash my cell phone, you have the ability to smash the cell phones of all the netizens around the world. I left the house under the protection of the police. Point 10. The video created a huge uproar on the internet. And everyone saw Sienna's heartlessness and my parents' eccentricity. Countless netizens sympathized with me for having such a mother and father. And even teachers and classmates who had misunderstood my jealousy of my sister sent me messages apologizing. Harvard MIT knew that my acceptance letter had been torn up and sent me a new one, which had been plasticized and could not be torn up anymore. I took my parents and Sienna to court for maliciously tearing up my SAT acceptance letter, and since Sienna turned 18 a few days ago, she could go to jail if she was convicted. Lou's father and mother were afraid of delaying Sienna's future, and privately approached me for negotiation. Iyun, Mom and Dad beg you, withdraw the case. Your sister really didn't do it on purpose. Father finally lost his usual condescending attitude. These past few days Sienna's matter has been making a lot of noise, and a lot of gray hairs have sprouted on their heads. Just looking at him like this, I don't feel the slightest bit of heartache, only chills. Not on purpose. Yes. Sienna, nothing is on purpose. Wrongly accusing me of cheating wasn't on purpose. Bullying me with my classmates wasn't on purpose. Is it possible that one day I'll be stabbed to death by her and you guys will say she didn't mean it either? I know that you guys have been favoring my sister since I was a kid, so I've never had an ounce of extravagance for you guys. But I didn't think that you guys would even be able to ruin my life. The school I worked so hard to get into. For my sister. Father's head gradually lowered. But no matter what, she's still your sister. She just turned 18. She's still a child. Can't you just give her a chance? Mom still persisted in excusing her sister. I laughed back in anger. Sienna just turned 18. But do you guys realize that I was only 19 the day she tore up my acceptance letter? But do any of you remember my birthday? My dear Mom and Dad. I could have emphasized the pronunciation of the last sentence, and the two of them were too red-faced to speak at my dislike. I sighed. It's not impossible to get me to drop the case, as long as you agree to my two conditions. Father was too busy to open his mouth. You said, if you want, you are willing to withdraw the case. We will agree to any condition. First, I want Sienna to publicly apologize to me. Second, I want to break off relations with you from now on. 11th, on the day of the apology, Sienna reluctantly walked to me and perfunctorily opened her mouth. I'm sorry, sister. I looked at her coldly. Is that the tone of an apology? She frowned, looking impatient. Okay. I'm wrong. Lila, are you happy now? You won. Now everyone on the internet is yelling at me. Are you satisfied? As she spoke, she suddenly became agitated. Pulling out a knife from her pocket, she rushed forward and tried to stab me. I expected that she would not apologize so obediently. I have been vigilant. See, the situation immediately dodged away. Sienna, a blow failed. Want to stab again, but was rushed to the police to hold down. She had her hands cut off. Her hair was messy. Her eyes were red. And she looked crazy. Lila, did you do so well on your SATs on purpose? You did it just to make me lose my reputation. We are sisters. Why don't you help me? You bitch. It's all you. You ruined me. I looked at her like she was a fool. I got my marks by studying hard on my own. If you worked hard, you could too. But you're hellbent on parasitizing me and getting high scores through me. Once I don't let you parasitize, you have to turn around and scold me. What kind of reasoning is that? It's not me who ruined you, but you yourself. My good sister. I'm going to start my new life. And you, go to hell, parasite. I turn around and get ready to leave. Sienna finally feels scared. Sister, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I'll never dare again. Will you forgive me? You help me. You go with me to gap year retake. Okay, I didn't pay any more attention to her. And let Sienna be taken away by the police. Point 12 Sienna tore up my acceptance letter and also intended to kill me. And the evidence was conclusive. Lou's parents couldn't bail her out even after looking for all kinds of connections, and she was finally sentenced to 3 years. I was able to get rid of my biased parents and my parasitic sister, and continued my studies at the university. Mr. and Mrs. Frank, out of guilt or something, gave me money for my living expenses every month, but I didn't use any of it, and returned it to them unchanged. I don't want to owe them anymore. 4 years of college. I studied while working part-time, and when I graduated, I saved a small sum of money and founded my own company with a friend. I took one step at a time and steadily built the company stronger and stronger. On the day of the opening of the branch, Frank found out about me through someone and came over. The two of them had gray hair and were much older than before. In front of me, they cried bitterly, wanting to recognize me as their daughter. Iyun, come home. Mom and Dad were wrong. We really know we were wrong. We shouldn't have favored your sister so much back then. Only now do we realize that you are our good daughter. With a handful of snot and tears, they confessed deeply in front of me, and the people beside me were moved, but I was indifferent. Late deep love is cheaper than grass. I have long since stopped caring about being your daughter. More than 10 years do not contact. Now suddenly looking for me is nothing more than to see my company made big. Want to come to ask for benefits. Lightly a few words want to write off the harm that was given to me in those years. If I am soft-hearted, it would be a betrayal of my high school self. I spoke coldly. The year of the SAT, we severed our relationship. Now you only have Sienna as a daughter. Go away. Don't make me call security to evict you. I took my secretary into the office and stopped sharing a single wink with them. Later I found someone to investigate a bit. I heard that Sienna from the prison out of nothing to do. All day at home to rely on their parents to support. Frank forced her to go out to work. She still do not see those jobs. Dead not willing to go. Stay at home all day to gnaw old age. Frank was so angry that he had to go out to make money to support his daughter. When I heard this, I laughed out loud. Parasites for parasites. No wonder they came to me. So they were short of money. It's a pity that this parasite was cultivated by themselves. So they will suffer well in this life. As for me, I'm going to live my own life well.